Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, like, and follow this channel. These are the stories they don't want told, and your support helps us keep asking the hard questions. It began like any other Tuesday, the sun rising gently over Kampala, life moving slowly, no alarms, no sirens, just another quiet morning. But as the general's car pulled out of Kisasi, something else was moving too. Quietly, deliberately, with deadly precision, 2 bodas, 4 men, no number plates, no hesitation, and in their pockets, bullets with names already written on them. This isn't just a story of a failed assassination, it's the slow unraveling of a mystery soaked in blood, fear, and silence. A daughter gunned down, a father wounded, a country left stunned, and behind it all, a question that still haunts the corridors of power. Who gave the order? It was June 1st, 2021, just after 9 a.m. in Kisasi, a quiet suburb of Kampala. General Katumba Wamala, Uganda's former Chief of Defense Forces and then Minister of Works, was on his way to mourn a family member. With him was his 26-year-old daughter, Brenda Nantongo Wamala, and his longtime driver, Haruna Kayondo. Brenda wasn't a soldier, she wasn't political, just a soft-spoken young woman who had recently returned from studies abroad. That morning, she sat beside her father, scrolling her phone, smiling, oblivious to the danger inching closer. Then, from behind them, the bodas emerged, slow, unassuming, but tracking them. Unknown to the family, they had already been followed for nearly 4 kilometers. The men on the bikes wore dark helmets with visors down, faces hidden, intent clear. They weren't just following, they were hunting. The ambush was timed perfectly. The moment the Land Cruiser slowed, traffic tightening around them, the bodas moved into position. And then chaos. Over 50 bullets tore through the vehicle. The windshield shattered instantly. Side windows burst like crystal. Tires hissed and deflated. In seconds, Haruna was dead. Brenda slumped, hit in the chest and neck. The general, wounded in the shoulder and arm, struggled to crawl out. Only his bodyguard managed to fire back, but by then the attackers were already fading into the alleys of Kampala. What followed was confusion, screams, people running, phones recording, and then headlines. General Katumba Wamala survives deadly attack. Photos of the bullet-ridden vehicle flooded the news. Images of Brenda's lifeless body, of Katumba, shirt bloodied, arm wrapped, giving a weak thumbs up from a hospital bed. The country paused. Uganda had seen assassinations before, police chiefs, members of parliament clergy, always the same style, gunmen on motorcycles. But this one hit deeper. This was a general. This was his daughter. This felt deliberate. Brenda was mourned not just by family, but by a nation. Social media overflowed with tributes. Friends described her as kind, intelligent, and full of promise. Just weeks earlier, she had been posting graduation photos. Now, obituaries? The pain was raw, but the mystery was deeper. Who would target the general, and why kill his daughter? The investigation moved fast. CCTV footage revealed the attackers had tailed the Land Cruiser before striking. They disappeared down side streets with shocking ease. Investigators began piecing together phone records, surveillance data, witness statements. Then arrests. First, a Boda rider, then a herbalist. Eventually, 5 suspects, all linked to the same group, the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF. ADF is not just any group, a known extremist organization with operations spanning Uganda and eastern Congo, accused of bombings, abductions, and assassinations. And now, this. According to police, the attack wasn't about Katumba personally. It was part of a broader terror campaign aimed at destabilizing Uganda. One suspect, under interrogation, claimed they were trained in North Kivu, paid to carry out targeted killings, phones, money, weapons, orders. But who gave those orders? The name floated to the surface. Sheikh Obadiah, allegedly the recruiter, the coordinator, the man who marked targets and assigned roles. But Sheikh Obadiah was gone, vanished. And the suspects left behind? Silent, or too scared to speak. Each had a code name, each had a task, from scouts to shooters. The charges were heavy: terrorism, murder, attempted murder, illegal firearms. Under Uganda's Anti-Terrorism Act, they could be held indefinitely. But questions began to rise. Some suspects appeared in court with visible injuries. Human rights lawyers cried torture. Others questioned the speed and accuracy of the arrests. Was justice really being done, or just being seen to be done? And what about the mastermind? Months passed. Public attention shifted. But for Katumba, the grief remained. He returned to work, walked with a limp, his left arm barely functional. In every photo, you can still see the pain etched into his face. He doesn't speak much about that day. When he does, he calls it God's grace. But behind the faith, there's fire. He wants answers. This wasn't Uganda's first assassination by Boda. In 2017, Assistant IGP Felix Kawisi was shot dead the same way. So was MP Ibrahim Abriga. Same style, same bikes. Each time, no convictions. Bodas had become the weapon of choice. Fast, disguised, untraceable. People demanded reforms, mandatory registration, GPS tracking. But enforcement was slow, corruption ran deep, and fear kept growing. Because if a general can be shot on the street, who is truly safe? As of 2025, the suspects remain behind bars, still waiting, trials dragging, and the man believed to be behind it all, still out there. Ugandans are used to promises. They've heard them before. We will get them. We will bring justice. But Brenda is still gone, and the question still hangs in the air, sharp as a blade. Who ordered the killing of Brenda Nantongo Wamala? Because this wasn't just a crime, it was a message. And in Uganda, messages like these are rarely written in ink. They're written in blood.